Is a big fella in a fake Winnie the Pooh looking mask running around killing a load of woefully undeveloped characters your kind of thing? Well, if it is, then maybe Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey is a film for you. I watched it last night and here's my thoughts on it. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to my review for Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Yes, this film here comes at us directed by Rhys Frake Waterfield and written by A.A. Milne and the aforementioned director himself of the movie, Rhys Frake Waterfield. The film stars Nikolai Leon as Christopher Robin. He's joined by Maria Taylor, Natasha Rose Mills, Amber Doig Thorne, and a wealth of other unknown individuals who I've probably never seen in anything in my life before, and I can't be bothered listing them. The film runs for just less than 90 minutes. Now, the reason I watched this film firstly is because I wanted to watch a film, but I wanted to watch something that wasn't entirely too taxing on the brain, just something I could put on as background noise and watch without thinking too much. That's the sort of mood I was in. So thusly, I fell on this film here because I saw people picking it up when it came out not too long ago, rushing out to buy it, thinking, oh, this is fantastic and this sort of thing. So I thought, you know, I've got to watch it and see what you know, whether there is any worth in this movie. Lo and behold, the answer slapped me in the face. There's no worth in this movie. No. So this film here, it's got a compelling start. You know, you've got the story of Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin finding these little creatures, and it's all done in this animated form, much akin to as a child's kind of story possibly would be. Christopher Robin finding these, you know, the little creatures, Piglet, Pooh, Eeyore, Donkey, Donkey is Eeyore, the owl, I don't know, all these characters. Anyway, he goes, he sees them on a daily basis, he brings them food and this sort of thing, but when he gets to an age where he has to leave and depart, leave them for his real life and head off to college, they kind of fall out of favour with him. They become more feral in that now they're not being fed and brought food. They start starving because they don't know how to look after themselves, and thusly it falls on Eeyore to become their meal. Yeah, they devour Eeyore. Now, this isn't seen, this isn't done. This is done in sort of like sketchy animation form, but you don't visually see it. And they sort of turn to a feral state. And years later, we jump to years later where Christopher Robin returns to 100 Acre Wood with his newly found wife. They've just got married. He's shared stories with her of his adventures as a young kid. She believes it just to be a figment of his imagination, not actually reality. You know, young kid making up invisible friends. He goes and finds them, but lo and behold, they've changed. They turn into these sort of murderous creatures, very man-looking with silly-looking masks on, essentially, and thus they kill her and looks like possibly they've killed him as well. We then jump to these other characters that we are introduced to. A group of girls who are basically lodging in 100 Acre Wood in some cabin, in some house, because they want to get away. One of them's got mental health issues, something's happened to her in the past, and all this sort of nonsense. Lo and behold, they come across Winnie the Pooh and the Piglet, grown Piglet, who start a murderous rampage on them. And that's pretty much a film, and it's a film about survival. Them trying to survive this. What else happens? Nothing really. There's characters introduced that are just like, well, where do you come from? There's plot threads that are not continued with, that are sort of introduced and not continued, and questionable as to who each character is. There's no character motivations. The characters are doing stupid things that you just wouldn't do. Some of the lines of dialogue in the film are just horrendous. You know, there's a scene where one girl has been killed under the tyre of a car when Winnie the Pooh gets into this car and drives it. Not to question the fact that where did you learn to drive and operate a vehicle, but he can. Fair enough. All right, let's suspend disbelief that much. I'm believing that, you know, there's these hybrid human animal type things, but this girl's been killed in quite a gruesome fashion, and I'll give hats off to the film for that. Some of the gruesome moments will appeal to horror fans. You know, it's quite visceral in what it does. The head under the tyre and things like that. It looks pretty good in that sense. But then they see the body, and they see the door of the house is open. And one girl says, "Well, why is the door open like that?" And my mind just went, well, how else is a door going to be open? You know, there's only one certain way a door will be open, really, and that's open. Why is the door open like that? They then proceed to run into the house. There's a dead body on the floor. Door open to the house. They run into the house. Is it not possible that the killer is in the house? And then they see some writing on some glass. Seriously, that says "Get out." And one of them says, that's probably done by the people who've done that outside. Really? You think? Yeah, it's this sort of stupidness. But none of the characters in it, none of these female characters are developed in any way, shape or form. There's no clear protagonist for the movie. Not one of these girls is clearly above the other. There's one that is positioned as such. She's the one with the sort of mental health problems, what happened to her in the past. But even her is so woefully underdeveloped that spoiler warning here, I knew about halfway through that each of these girls, every one is going to die. There's no survival. It was also clear that the movie is setting up a sequel. From the get-go, almost from the get-go, about halfway through, when we have no introduction of a couple of these hybrid characters. You know, you haven't got Owl and you haven't got the rabbit one. No, they're being saved for a sequel. This one here, you've just got Piglet and you've just got Winnie the Pooh. Piglet does get killed in the same fashion that he kills someone else in the movie. But what we've got here is a film that's full of abysmal directing, abysmal acting from all around, abysmally written. Yeah, it's woeful. It's horrendous. It's a horrendous film. I will say that, like I said, some of the kills are gruesome and visually so, and outstanding in that sense. They don't look too bad, but for the most part, the film is a horrible film. It looks stupid. Winnie the Pooh constantly looks like he's dribbling or got a runny nose, and I think this is meant to be just honey running from him, or honey coming out, you know, where he's been consuming honey or something. I don't know. It's you know, there's a potential for an interesting story here, right, in the sense that when I was watching it, I had to sort of fill in the blanks myself. I had to say, okay, why are these why is Winnie the Pooh, and why do they exist in the real world? Why have you got these human-esque animals? Because they're humans with masks on, essentially. Do you know what I mean? That's what they look like. No one would grow that way. And there is a line by this woman that just sort of pops out of nowhere that they've captured, and she says that they're sort of human hybrids. So, you know, what am I meant to believe? That someone has gone and mated with a bear, someone has gone and mated with an owl, someone has gone and mated with other types of creatures, this sort of a thing. So but as the film was progressing, so it gives you a little bit of an answer there, but as the film was progressing, I was trying to question in my head, or fill in the blanks as to why these creatures exist, because they look like people in masks. Now, personally, I would have preferred a sort of story of you know, they are people, much akin to is it Cabin in the Woods? No, not Cabin in the Woods. Things like the one in the mountains in America. You know, where you've got inbred, backwards bred people. So the way I saw it is that Christopher Robin potentially could have gone into the woods, found these creatures, which are actually the children of these inbred people. But what they do is they wear masks. They wear masks, much akin to a bear. And Christopher Robin, being a naive young boy, he sees them as being animals, but they're not. They're people that wear sort of freakishly looking animal-esque masks. But he believes them to be animals. And thus, lo and behold, there you go. That they're not actually animals, they're actually people. Inbred individuals, much like you get, like I said, in the American films. Yeah, but it didn't go that way. I meant to believe that these are sort of animal-human hybrid things that I don't know. I don't know. How you get a mating with an owl, and have an offspring, I do not know, although we haven't seen that part of it yet. If a sequel comes, which hopefully it doesn't, we may see it then. I'm rambling. This film was terrible. It was terrible all round. It was horrendous. There's no worth in this movie whatsoever. Directing, acting, script-wise, there was nothing. The soundtrack was okay, you know, for what it done to play alongside the events of the film. It was kind of that was all right. I won't give it, not soundtrack you'd listen to on its own independently, but in conjunction with the film and what was going on, it worked. I think that's the only positive I can say for it. But there we go. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. Have you seen this film? What did you think of it? Did you enjoy it? That's what I want to know. Is anyone out there who actually saw this film thought, do you know what? That was bloody good. Not to take it away from you, but seriously, I love having conversations with people who have a difference of opinion of my own. And if there's anyone out there watching this who you love this film, then let me know in the comments down below. Let me know why, and let's talk about it. Alternatively, if you hated it as well, again, let me know. I'm sure I'm not alone.